good. I'll warn you at 10, 30. Need is more to carry. To Andre. It's going to Jonesy, and then I'll tell you 10.
We're at the Rogers Centre in Toronto, and you are inside the Aurora Room where we're getting set to hold the second NBL Canada, National Basketball League of Canada draft. I'm Paul Jones along with Eric Smith and Audrey Stevenson. Fellas, lots to talk about when you think about the first year of the league, a really, really roaring success. And Eric, a lot of the success just down the road in London, Ontario.
Yeah, a solid start overall for London, and the Lightning winning the championship, a 28-8 record last year in the inaugural season. They win expansion franchise of the year for the NBL as well, led by their former NBA All-Star Michael Ray Richardson, coach of the year. A huge year for London to start off in that first season, and that success rolling overall into what hopes to be a big second year for the NBL overall, and they will get a little bit bigger as well, oddly.
Sure, for sure. We're talking about expansion. The Windsor Express, their first time in the league, and it's a reason to be excited. Like lots of reason to get excited. Players are in here and hopefuls to get called, and that's, I mean, you can't beat that. Right?
Well, it's interesting because we were at the Combine, and you talk to coaches. They talk about this Combine being much better than last year's. All kinds of talent. You talk about the draft picks. 6 of the 7 first-round draft picks played in the league last year. Overall, 13 of the 21 players picked played in the league. Now, we're up to 8 teams. Dardis Willis, one of the owners with Windsor, came to Eric and I last year. And remember him? Remember the conversation?
He was raring to go.
He was raring to go.
I want in.
He wants in. He's in this year. And before he can make a pick or anybody can make a pick, the talent had to be evaluated. They were up in Orangeville, and this is what we saw. This is the AXE Athlete Institute in Orangeville, Ontario, where hopefuls came to prove themselves in the NBL Canada Combine. They had to register, and once they received a number, they were put through a battery of tests, including wingspan, vertical jump, height, weight measurements, and then agility drills. Coaches warming the players up, constantly evaluating, and that included some game time, where players had a chance to show themselves to coaches. And when it was time to recharge, they did it with milk. The 2012 NBL Canada Draft presented by Recharge with Milk.
Recharge, baby. Let's go.
The best way to reach your goal tomorrow is to start today. After a workout, your body needs fluids, carbs, and protein to rehydrate, refuel, and recharge. A serving of chocolate milk within 30 minutes of working out delivers an ideal mix of what your body needs to help make tomorrow's workout better today. Recharge with milk.
Ontario. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2012 National Basketball League of Canada Draft, brought to you by Recharge with Milk, the official recovery product of the NBL Canada. Players, families, owners, and dignitaries, thank you very much for joining us this evening. For all of our fans watching from across the country and beyond, we're excited to have you join us on this prestigious evening. As we usher in our second season, we're continuing to build on the success of our historic inaugural season. The 2012 season will continue to deliver the high level of play and entertainment that you've come to enjoy. In preparation for this year's draft, the draft order has been determined by last year's results, with the Windsor Express making the first selection, followed by the Moncton Miracles with the second, Summerside Storm with the third, Oshawa Power with the fourth, St. John Mill Rats with the fifth, and the Cavs de Laval with the sixth. Summerside Storm would make the seventh selection to receive Halifax Rainman picks for Troy Gosselin. Moncton Miracles would make the eighth to receive London Lightning's pick for Tristan Martin. There will be 3 rounds with teams picking in the same order in all rounds. Teams will have 3 minutes to make their selection between picks. All rounds of the 2012 NBL Canada Draft are open to both free agents and Canadians. These 41 gentlemen have worked extremely hard this weekend to showcase their talent to coaches and general managers. Good luck to you all this evening. Let's begin. Windsor Express is on the clock.
The Windsor Express, expansion franchise in the National Basketball League of Canada, and there is the main man, second from the right, one of the owners, Dardis Willis, and as Eric and I mentioned off the top of the show, he came to us last year and just loved the event. You knew that Windsor at some point, Eric, was going to have a franchise in this league, and Dardis Willis and company made it happen pretty quickly.
It sure did, Jones. And it seemed like last year, had they had the opportunity to maybe get things done in time, perhaps they would have been in for year one as well, because they were really chomping at the bit to get in there in time for last season. But there they are with the #1 pick now this year, followed by Moncton and Summerside, rounding out the top 3 selections overall. And this is big for Windsor as well, and the fact that even as we speak right now, there's a city council meeting going on, and just to make sure everything's all locked and loaded and ready to go for year #1 in Windsor.
Well, Eric, you know, as any draft goes, and at any time during a draft, trades are a possibility. There was rumors about Windsor potentially trading this #1 pick to secure a player who was at the University of Windsor, a hometown hopeful, as you will, maybe to help pack the building. They had some tremendous crowds last year in the NBL Canada. The largest crowd of the year was over 5,500 people when St. John came to Oshawa to play the Power. So the league has done well, and it'll be interesting to see if Windsor holds on. There's Ian McCarthy in the background. Maybe there is a trade going on. We've heard lots of rumors about trades. I mean, the front office personnel have been in this room, wandering over to each other's tables here and there. So who knows what's going to happen in this first round with Windsor on the clock.
When I got here, I couldn't even find you because you were too busy buzzing around with all the trade rumblings that seem to be happening right now with not only the first pick, but maybe other rumors and deals going down over the course of the evening as well.
Got to work the room.
A lot of conversations happening. We'll see if it amounts to any significant moves or not.
Well, the name that was being bandied about was Isaac Kwan. And Isaac was a player who played his collegiate basketball in the CIS at the University of Windsor, was dealt in the league last year, ended up with St. John. And it'll be interesting to see what Windsor does with their pick. A lot of chatter at their table right now as we get a look at some of the guys. I've got to tell you, the Combine was terrific. Up there on the weekend, having a chance to see the players show their stuff. There is a lot of talent, and people are gravitating towards this league. Eric, you ran into somebody, one of the guys that drove up from North Carolina. Windsor is ready, and Andre Livingston will announce the pick.
With the first pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Windsor Express select 6'10" Robert Curtis.
So there he is, the first pick in the National Basketball League of Canada Draft for the upcoming 2012-2013 season. Robert Curtis, he's an NAIA player, and we had a chance to speak with one of Robert's representatives. He is represented by the Elite Talent Exchange with Michael Shue, the man in charge, and his Canadian counterpart, Matt Slan, is the guy that was up here working the back rooms, front rooms, wherever he could for his talent in Canada. And there's your #1 pick, Robert Curtis.
When you talk about 6'9", 6'10",
Size is always
235 pounds.
Size is always
Can't
good,
teach
isn't it?
size, right, Jonesy? Can't teach size. And big men at a premium, no doubt about it. So congratulations to Robert Curtis, the #1 overall pick. And you were talking about potential, moving and shaking, and we'll see if ultimately over the course of the evening things go down or not. But Robert Curtis, the first overall pick in the 2012 NBL Draft.
Well, Robert Curtis just passing us here, and I believe he's going to make his way back to Audley Stevenson, and we'll get a chance to hear from the guy who was picked #1. Last year's #1 pick was Morgan Lewis, and he played for the Oshawa Power. As we said, a high percentage of these gentlemen that are picked here tonight are going to play in this league. Windsor, first pick down. They've got 2 more, and the chatter is already going on from the Windsor table. Let's go to Audley Stevenson with the number 1 overall pick, Robert Curtis.
So we're here, number 1 pick. How does that sound? You're hearing your name get called first overall.
Man, it's a blessing. You know, it feels really good. Just really nervous right now, and I'm happy.
Gotta let those nerves go, man.
Yeah.
So in terms of the city of Windsor, what can they look for out of you when you arrive, and the fan base? They're going to want to know about you. What can you tell them?
Well, I'm a hard worker. Just, whatever my coaches need me to do, I'm willing to do. Kind of do a lot. I'm just ready to bring what I have to bring.
Okay. So what do you see contributing right away? Right away, the first thing you bring, what would that be for you?
Defense, very active around the boards, just hard work overall, just hard work.
For sure. Okay, well, hey, congratulations again, being the first pick, and let's go back to Eric and Paul.
Robert Curtis, the number 1 pick of the expansion franchise, the Windsor Express. Curtis saying a lot of good things, Eric. Hardworking, wants to play defense. Whatever the coaches need, that's a good place to start.
Well, you're definitely loving that if you're the coaching staff right now. As a big man that wants to work hard and play defense, that's the first words you want to hear out of any player's mouth, no doubt about it. Moncton will be next. Yep. The Moncton Miracles, Jonesy, awaiting the second selection.
And Moncton last year had a rough start. They finished 9-27, 7th overall, last at the bottom of the league. They had a tough start at 0-11, but they have made some changes, and they are looking for a turnaround in this second season. Moncton on the clock, and again, rumors abound with regard to trade. The trades, if there are trades, will be announced later on by CEO and President Andre Livingston, but right now, a lot of tense faces, a lot of guys ready to be picked. Let's go to Andre Livingston.
With the second pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Moncton Miracles select Anthony Johnson. Summerside Storm is on the clock.
Anthony Johnson, another one of the clients from the same stable as number 1 pick Robert Curtis. There you see Anthony getting a congratulatory handshake from the agent for this Canadian part of the team.
Yeah, the Elite Talents Exchange of representatives out of the U.S. and Asia. Michael Shue, representative, and here in Canada, again, Matt Slan from Slan Sports Management, and Anthony Johnson, another big man, 6'8", number 2 pick.
Very versatile player. Anthony showing he's got game inside and outside. Whenever you got a guy that's that big that can run the floor and play multiple positions, Eric, as it were. He can play inside, can play a bit on the outside. He's a guy that's going to be a valuable piece for Moncton, a team that's looking to rebound after a tough opening year. Summerside is on the clock. They'll be up next, the Summerside Storm. And let's go to Audley.
I'm here with the second pick of the NBL draft. Anthony A.J. Johnson, how's that feel, man?
It feels wonderful. Very, like my best friend since 3rd grade said, it's just a blessing. I just can't believe here. It's been a long time coming. It's just a testament to show that hard work really does pays off.
It certainly does. And just before your name got called, you and I chatted for a bit, and you were cool and calm, and it was like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of it just comes down to all the work that I put in before I even came to Canada. Ever since I was a kid, I've always known this is something I really wanted to do.
Right.
And it's, ever since from 6 a.m. to 9 at night, it's just a constant grind. This is something that you really wanted to do, which I made that decision a long time ago, and I just put in the work, and this is just the fruits of my labor.
Sure. Hard work truly does pay off. So congratulations once again. Cool.
All right, there he is, the number 2 pick, Anthony Johnson. Eric, he's an NAIA product, small college product, but a guy with a big game.
Well, and you talked about it as well right after the selection was made, Jonesy, in terms of his versatility overall, good rebounder, good ability to take the ball outside to show a little bit of range, and a good post-up game overall as well. So the versatility, I'm sure something that Moncton was looking at and making a selection in Anthony Johnson.
Let's go to Andre Livingston, who has the pick of the Summerside Storm.
We have a trade to announce. The Halifax Raymen trades the rights to Tyrone Levitt and Christian Upshaw for the number 2 pick, Anthony Johnson.
Well, Jonesy, there you have it. It didn't take long.
There it is.
Didn't take long. The number 2 pick. We just finished talking about him.
In the 2012 NBL draft, the Summerside Storm selects James Hassel.
So a trade made. Halifax trades Levitt and Upshaw, Christian Upshaw, a local product, for the number 2 pick that was just selected, Anthony Johnson. And Summerside makes their selection at number 3.
Well, we hinted at it. That took all of, what, about 10 minutes for the deal to go down? We'll see if there might be more to come, as you've talked about a couple of times, Jonesy, with a pretty significant deal.
Oshawa Power is on the clock.
The Oshawa Power on the clock as Summerside gets their man. Another big man selected, and Eric, we always talk about it. It's a big man's game. I mean, good guard play keeps you in games. It's exciting, but there's a premium on big men, and it's a big man's game. And here's Summerside again, a team that had a difficult time in their inaugural season, selecting a big player in the draft, Hassel. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Here, Brandon Hassel. Brandon, you are next pick. I mean, you look at your game and what you bring. 6'10" body, a clog up the middle, block some shots. What else do you see yourself bringing to the Summerside Storm?
Anything the coaches ask me to do. I'm here to work hard and help this team win.
Yeah. So in terms of the community, what do you see yourself bringing to the community itself? I mean, obviously on the court is obvious. In the community, what do you see yourself doing for the team?
Just trying to be a positive influence on and off the floor, like you said, and just, being positive.
Right.
Just happy to be here right now.
Well, if anything, you're really cool and collecting. That'll mean something for sure for the squad.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, congrats once again. Thanks.
Brandon Hassel, the number 3 pick of the Summerside Storm. There is a table of the Oshawa Power as you look at them with their head coach Robert Brickey on the left. The Power, another team attracting a lot of attention and churning very much so in the rumor mill when it comes to potential trades.
Well, it seems like in this first round we should be talking about teams that haven't been involved in trade talks or
Everybody
trade
has
at this point, right?
Everybody has.
That's what the draft's all about, moving and shaking and trying to get the right player at the right spot. And Jonesy, after seeing a first year that was pretty successful overall for a lot of clubs, I'm sure no doubt about it, you're looking to make whatever improvements you can if you were kind of in that bottom tier, bottom half of the league overall. And now you've got another team to worry about in Windsor coming into the league.
We're ready for the next pick. The Oshawa Power are up, and here is Andre Livingston.
With the 4th pick in the 2012 NBL draft, the Oshawa Power select Chad Gillespie. St. John Mill Rats is on the clock.
Chad Gillespie, 6'7" forward. And out at the Combine yesterday, his name, well, actually not his name, a lot of the coaches were going by number. And Chad was wearing number 194 yesterday, and a lot of coaches were looking around, and you heard the number 194. What's 194? You got, yeah, I got 194, and Chad Gillespie obviously made an impression.
And that's the interesting thing about something like these Combines. A lot of times it's first time for many of these coaches to get their eyes on a player for a significant stretch, with guys coming in from all over the place. You talked about it, Jonesy, people driving up on their own time, on their own dime, trying to get up here and see if they can impress and continue to sort of live that dream and chase that dream and get an opportunity to play professionally. And that's going to happen for a lot of individuals here tonight.
Gillespie, inside-outside player. You see him standing in and taking a charge there. Coaches will love that. Let's go to Audley Stevenson with Chad Gillespie.
Chad, you come in 4th pick with the Oshawa Power. Come on, how's that feel?
Feels good.
Yeah?
I'm just happy to be here and blessed to be here.
For sure. So in terms of what you bring to the table to help this squad, what do you see yourself doing immediately?
Rebound and defense. That's kind of what I do. I'm pretty versatile too, so hopefully I can. If they need me inside, I can play inside. If they need me outside, I can play outside. So.
For sure. Wondering about your journey, and when you look at all the work that you've done to get up to this point, what's going through your mind right now?
Man, I don't know. It's been a lot of hard work, like you said, and I don't know. I'm just blessed to be here and happy to be here and thankful.
For sure. Well, hey, congrats once again, Chad. All the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chad Gillespie selected 4th overall. There is David Cooper, the new head coach of the St. John Mill Rats. They are on the clock. They are up next. The Oshawa Power hoping to integrate Chad Gillespie into that lineup. Gillespie will join the Power, who finished at 15-21 last year, just outside of the playoffs. But man, they made a late run, winning 6 of 7 to almost grab that 4th and final playoff spot. Let's see what this year holds for the Oshawa Power.
And Gillespie, the previous pick, another product of the NAIA Jonesy. So seen a couple of those guys already going here in the first few picks of our second annual draft for the NBL.
There's David Cooper, the new head coach. And
a couple of new head coaches this year.
There's a few. Yeah, there's a few. And we will touch them all. Leaning over on the far left of the screen is Ian McCarthy. And let's go to Andre Livingston with the next pick.
There's a trade to announce. The Summerside Storm sends the rights of Louis McCroskey and cash considerations to the Oshawa Power for the 4th pick, Chad Gillespie. With the 5th pick in the 2012 NBA Draft, the St. John Mill Rats selects 6'1" Mike Helms.
Well, the trades continue to roll. Chad Gillespie, maybe he wants to trade in that Oshawa Power hat. Wasn't wearing it very long. He is off to Summerside, PEI, for Louis McCloskey. And Louis is a guy that can score. He's a veteran, and he's going to help that Oshawa team. And no doubt Chad Gillespie will help Summerside. The next pick, Mike Helm, and there he is with head coach David Cooper up at the podium.
Laval is on the clock.
And Helms Jonesy out of Oakland University, and you talk about the experience that he brings to St. John. Played in Argentina, he's played in Australia, Israel, New Zealand. He's got a lot of stickers on that suitcase, and that brings a lot of experience from a number of professional leagues around the world as well, and he's bringing it now to the NBL with St. John.
Let's go to Audley with Mike Helm.
As you just said, you got that Detroit look going on, cool, calm, collective. What's going on in your head?
And just happy to be selected, happy to get back, back to playing. I sat out the past year or so, not by choice, so just very happy to get back, back playing.
For sure. So when we talk about sort of your immediate contributions and the impact that you can have on the squad, where do you see yourself fitting in?
I believe I'm one of the older guys here, so, a leadership and experience right off top, and just the ability to put pressure on defenses, by going to the rack and just using everything, all of my God-given ability.
So a little bit of everything is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah. That's what you be a basketball player. You got to do a little bit of everything, not just one thing. So I pride myself on that.
For sure. Well, we'll keep an eye out for you, and congrats once again.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Mike Helms, picked by the St. John Mill Rats. And as you said, Eric Helms out of Oakland University, a small school, but making their mark as a Division I school, have produced some pretty fair players over the last little while. You think of the likes of a guy like Raul Marshall, et al., and Mike Helms following those footsteps. Let's go to the podium to Andre Livingston.
There's a trade to announce. The St. John Mill Rats have acquired the #1 overall pick, Robert Curtis, from Windsor, for the 5th pick, Mike Helms, and the rights to Isaac Kwan.
Well, you talked about it. And we'll discuss it more in a moment here as
With
Livingston gets set to make the pick.
In the 2012 NBL Draft, Laval Caps select Adrian Moss. Summerside Storm is on the clock.
So Adrian Moss is the next pick, but Eric, there it is. As we heard and we discussed, rumors abound that Isaac Kwan would be on his way to Windsor. The kid who played at the University of Windsor. And it was obviously a case where Windsor felt they could get the person they wanted and could trade down, and made that pick of Robert Curtis for St. John.
How many times do you see a first and second pick get traded, all within about a matter of 15 minutes? Don't get too comfortable.
Don't get too comfortable. Rent, don't buy. Welcome to the National Basketball League of Canada. And Adrian Moss selected with the 6th overall pick by Laval. He's a point guard, a guy that runs things out top. Did a nice job at the Combine.
And a product of IUPUI.
Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Just so we heard from my broadcast colleagues, did a fine job at the Combine. A lot of guards, when you talk about your mentality and mindset as a guard, knowing that you're competing with other guards of your position, what's that look like for you?
First off, I just want to thank God, but I just try to do the little things, you know what I'm saying, make my team better, make my teammates better, and then scoring come, play defense. So we'll start there.
What do those little things look like?
I mean, just making the easy pass, not making it too tough, not over-dribbling, keeping people involved, stuff like that.
And that's your game overall?
Yeah, I mean, I can score, but when I want to, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I like to do. I like to be a point guard.
Well, definitely. When scoring's always nice, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Hey, congrats, Adrian. All the best. All right?
Adrian Moss, the 6th pick of the team from Laval. And you heard Moss talking about being a point guard. Scoring is important. It's evolved. Let's face it, Eric, that position has evolved. It's no longer just the setup man anymore. And Laval, a team that did a decent job last year when you look down and look at their record. 22-14, third, and they were number 2 in the NBL in defense, and they lost in the semifinals. Andre Livingston approaching the podium, and there is Cliff Livingston. And if he were to move his hand, you'd see a big old championship ring, because he was riding with some guy named Michael Jordan back in 91 and 92. Livingston, the new head coach of the Halifax Rainmen.
With the 7th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, Summerside Storm selects Avery Smith. Moncton Miracles is on the clock.
So Avery Smith, the selection of Summerside, and that pick was acquired in a trade last year as Summerside made a deal with Halifax. And they are seeing that future pick turn into a player right now in Mr. Smith.
And there we get some of the highlights from the Combine over the course of the weekend with Avery Smith. Again, now heading to the Summerside Storm, and Jonesy, Avery Smith out of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and pro experience from Smith as well from a number of stops around the world overseas, playing in Lebanon, Iran, Syria, played in the PBL. Number of stops, and again, solid experience for Summerside and coming into the NBL.
Let's go to Audley Stevenson with Avery Smith.
Officially welcome to Summerside.
Thank you. Thank God for being here, for sure.
I wonder if you could talk about the draft combine process and your experiences of it. Again, you got a lot of players, some at your position that you're competing against. What's your mindset?
Man, just I've been to a couple camps in my career, so just go there and do what you do. Don't try to do anything extra. Just do what you believe, that teams can see in you, and that's what I try to do.
Okay.
And Summerside saw some talent in me, so I just thank them for drafting me.
So if you were to send a message to the Summerside fans right now, and you said do what you do, what would that be?
Exciting. I think I'm excited. Get to the basket, play combo, both positions, both guard positions, and just bring that competitive edge. Just want to bring that competitive edge to the program.
For sure, for sure. Well, excitement is what it is. Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
All right, Audley. Avery Smith, the number 7 selection by the Summerside Storm. And they had that pick given to them, or they acquired that pick in a trade with Halifax last year. And there you see the draft board, Moncton up next, and they acquired that pick from London. And the champs are pretty quiet right now, aren't they?
They have been very quiet. You would assume they're going to be active in trying to get themselves back into the mix here. If not in the first round, then probably by round 2. We'll see if there's any moving and shaking over at that Lightning table.
Well, I can't see Michael Ray Richardson and owner Vito Frigia just kind of sitting around. They're a team that won it all last year, and you know that there is something brewing there. So Moncton is next up. Let's go to Andre Livingston.
With the 8th pick of the 2012 NBL Draft, the Moncton Miracles select Kamar Burke. Windsor Express is on the clock.
So there is Kamar Burke, the final pick of the first round, a 6'5" swingman. He can play both the guard and the forward position.
Out of the University of BC.
A Canadian, and we should highlight this again, that it is the National Basketball League of Canada. 12-man roster must have at least 3 Canadians, and a West Coast product drafted and coming all the way to the east in Moncton. Man, look at the smile on this guy's face as he walks past us, being selected, hearing his name called. And Moncton got a guy who can swing it and play both spots, Eric, guard and forward. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
I'm feeling a sense of relief out of you. I mean, like, when I heard your name called, it was that, ooh, like, what's going through your mind, man?
It felt so good, man. Finally, I was waiting, just waiting. Hopefully, please, please, please. And I got called, and it feels good, man. It feels real good, man.
So a nice long walk up to the front then.
Yeah, nice little walk. Strut a little bit. Had a little fun up there.
So to your new fan base, they need to understand what you're going to do for them. And I know at the Combine, you had a fairly good showing with respect to a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I'm a pretty good rebounder, defender. I can score the ball. I can dish the ball. I can pretty much do everything. Honestly, do everything.
I think that's what your coach wants to hear. So congratulations, Kamar. All right, man. Cool.
Head coach Ricky Benitez will be pleased with that pick as Kamar Burke has been selected. That's round 1. You are looking at the board. We will take a break and come back with the second and third round. A reminder that the 2012 NBL Canada Draft is presented by Recharge with Milk.
The best way to reach your goal tomorrow is to start today. After a workout, your body needs fluids, carbs, and protein to rehydrate, refuel, and recharge. A serving of chocolate milk within 30 minutes of working out delivers an ideal mix of what your body needs to help make tomorrow's workout better today. Recharge with milk.
There is the table of the expansion franchise, the newest member of the National Basketball League of Canada, the Windsor Express, and leaning over on the left, second from the left, one of the principal owners, Dardis Willis. In the first round, the Windsor Express selected Robert Curtis and then traded him for the number 5 pick to the St. John Millrats, and that would be Mike Helms.
You have your flow chart ready? Because we had a lot of moves in that first round.
As I said
Trying
to the
keep
boys,
up with the bodies.
Rent, don't buy, because you never know what's going on.
Second round, Windsor will have the first selection, followed by Moncton, Summerside, Oshawa, St. John, Laval, Halifax, and London.
And this round will be Canadians. First round was open, second round Canadians, and the third round will be open. But, when I looked at the talent at the Combine, Eric, it really didn't matter. You couldn't tell that, this kid was Canadian or this kid was American.
You can either play or not, right?
Exactly. And that's well put. And Windsor trying to make their pick, deliberations. The head coach, Bill Jones.
Well, Jonesy, to your point about Canadian versus American as well, we just saw that with the last selection in the first round with Kamar Burke. Didn't wait for the Canadian in the second round, took him in that first round.
Let's go to Andre Livingston.
There's been a trade. The Oshawa Power trades the rights to Brandon Robertson to the Halifax Raymond for cash considerations and a third-round pick in 2013 draft. With the 9th pick in the 2012 NBL draft, the Windsor Express selects Kevin Loisel.
So Kevin Loisel, the first pick in the second round by the Windsor Express. But Eric, we need to talk about that trade. Brandon Robinson, the Rookie of the Year and the #1 scorer in the league, dealt by Oshawa to Halifax. Halifax all of a sudden got some scoring.
It's a bold move to be making. And it's what, the 4th, 5th deal that we've seen already tonight. When you're talking about trading a top talent like that and a huge acquisition for Halifax.
Is on the clock.
So Moncton on the clock as we look at Kevin Loisel. And he will play the forward spot for the Windsor Express. And, well, we say that now. We don't know if there's a deal in the works or a trade coming. But Loisel, a guy that, there you see him talking to Michael Ray Richardson, a guy that blocking shots, running the floor, and that's always a help.
Athleticism, getting to the hoop.
So Kevin Loisel, first pick of the second round. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
So Kevin, we've done this walk before. You know, you've been fortunate to have your name called. Does it change anything? Does it feel any different?
Well, this time I gotta say I would like to thank my mom and my dad watching, and everybody from Montreal supporting me. And I have to say we're gonna do it again. You know, go in and work hard and see what it comes out of.
So, and you talked about your support back home. How critical is that to your overall success?
Well, they're there behind me from day one, so I just gotta keep on going. They want me to do good, so.
Okay. So then again, talking about how players are contributing to their squads and what they're going to bring to the table, for you, it's a little bit of everything. You know, that you overall block shots, rebound, defend, pass on the break.
Yeah, I just do a little bit of everything. I just want to bring my energy and my experience and where I've played and everything.
For sure. Well, experience will be key. And again, congratulations, Kevin, and we'll look forward to you for the season. Thanks.
Thank you.
So there's your first round, and there have been a lot of trades, players picked and traded, and in the second round, Kevin Loisel, the #1 pick of the second round by the Windsor Express. And Eric, Audley Stevenson said the walk was done before, and you'll tell us why.
Yeah, last year selected by Moncton, and now here he is back this year with the first selection in the second round, 9th pick overall, as obviously things didn't work out last year with Moncton, and back in the draft, and now a member of Windsor in the Express out of Dawson College. You heard him say he's, hello to friends and family and his parents, especially back in Montreal and in the area, as the product of Durham College, is now a member of the Windsor Express.
So the Moncton Miracles are on the clock, and Andre Livingston has approached the podium.
With the 10th pick in the 2012 NBL draft, the Moncton Miracles select Terrence Lincoln. Summerside Storm is on the clock.
So there is Terrence as he makes his way forward. Second pick in the second round. Again, Eric, we look at and we talk about the premium on big men and big people and how important they are for backline of defense, for rebounding, for all of those things that you need to make your team go.
And experience on both sides of the border as you take a look at some of the highlights from the Combine. There he is wearing the jersey 200, the big man showing off that he's got a little bit of handle in the open court as well. Spent time, of course, with McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, and Mississippi State University down stateside as well. And now getting a chance to strut his stuff, hopefully this coming season in the NBL.
Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
I heard some call you Terrence, Terry. Doesn't matter. You're the NBL draft pick.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a blessing. So.
For sure, for sure. So I mean, again, I had an opportunity to see at the draft combine and the stuff you bring to the table, rebound and block shots. Can you talk about your game overall?
I like to play defense, block shots, rebound especially.
You like to smile too.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of what again, we talked about what you bring to the table, the community. I mean, what do you want to do for the community of your new team?
Well, we have a great coach, just came in, so happy to be involved in the community, and the great program that we have here in Canada. So we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. Congratulations once again, my man, and we'll keep an eye out for you all season long.
Thanks.
Great. Take care.
There is the Summerside table, and they are on the clock. The Summerside Storm, 12-24 last year, finished 6th overall, but got off to a pretty decent start. Had a 3-0 start before some injuries and some other things kicked in and really slowed them. They're on the clock, and they're up next. Joe Salerno, the head coach. Andre Livingston has approached the podium.
With the 11th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, the Summerside Storm selects Reggie Robinson. Oshawa Power is on the clock.
So Reggie Robinson making his way from the back of the room. It's a packed house here at the Aurora Room inside the Renaissance Hotel at Rogers Centre in Toronto. And there's Robinson showing his quickness, both on offense and defense, a guy that will certainly help Summerside this coming season.
Northwest Missouri State University. Spent time training in the States and down in Australia as well, in Melbourne.
So Robinson selected by Summerside. And at the end of the combine, on each day they had a showcase game where they looked at the top players, the top 15 to 20 players on that day. And Robinson turning some heads, no question about that, being selected here in the second round. Let's go to Audley.
Reg Robinson, you're the next up here. Talk about your game, and if you were to sort of look at a player that you would pattern yourself after or compare yourself to, who would that be?
My work ethic, I would probably say Kobe Bryant. There's no quitting, no fighting me. For the whole entire game, I'm going to fight, whether it's playing against 10 people or we playing against 1 million people. Whatever team I'm with, I'm going to fight. We're going to fight to the end.
What would you say is the biggest asset of your game? I mean, we heard Paul talk about your speed. What would you say that is?
My speed and my IQ, being able to use it and knowing when to use it and when not to use it, when able to turn it on and turn it off. So I would say my speed is real good, but my IQ and when to use those type of things has really helped me in my career.
I can tell you, your new coach just got really excited when he heard you say that you don't quit, and he got even more excited when you talked about your IQ. So congratulations, and we'll keep an eye out for you all season long. Take care, man. Thanks.
All right, Reggie Robinson, third pick of the second round of the Summerside Storm. There is the table of the Oshawa Power. The Oshawa Power last year again hosted the largest crowd in the National Basketball League of Canada, over 5,500 people at the GM Centre in Oshawa to witness a game between the St. John Millrats and the Oshawa Power. There is head coach Robert Brickey. And I had a chance to sit with him yesterday at the Combine, and we sat, and there wasn't much talking. He was flipping pages, making notes, and I almost felt like I was intruding at times because he was so focused on finding the right guy for his team.
Well, you talked about the statistic earlier with 6 of the first 7 last year playing in the league and 13 of the 21 overall. Obviously, the importance of the Combine showing right there when you think about how many guys actually played in the league last year via this draft.
Let's go to Andre Livingston.
With the 12th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, the Oshawa Power selects Amani Danish. St. John Millrats is on the clock.
Amani Danish, a guy that is part of that same stable that produced Robert Curtis and Anthony Johnson, the guys who were picked 1 and 2, and the Canadian representative, Matt Slan, telling us that there are 3 or 4 of the players from their stable that he thinks could be drafted. Well, right now he's 3 of 4, and only 1 left in that group, Jamal Smith, and we may yet hear his name called. Oshawa Power selecting Amani Danish, and we get a look at him. And getting up for the downstroke on that one, showing his athleticism. Nice job in the screen roll game there. And he's a guy that again, Oshawa will look to. Oshawa pulling off a blockbuster trade, sending the #1 scorer in the NBL last year, Brandon Robinson, to Halifax. So, Eric, when the #1 scorer is gone, you know there's going to be lots of shots available.
Well, and they get a guy in Donish that's got a lot of experience as well when you think about stops that have been all over, whether it be the U.S. or overseas, even at one point signed a pro contract with the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, this guy has got a ton of experience that he's going to be bringing to the league. Let's go to Audley Stevenson with Amani Donish.
Amani, a sense of relief hearing your name called. I mean, a couple of your teammates went before you. It's got to feel pretty good finally.
Definitely. I was glad to see them go before, and now I'm on to follow.
It'll be interesting now, maybe a little rivalries or so between teammates, and as the season goes on, and you guys try to compete against one another.
Oh, we compete every day. We actually work out together back in LA, and there's always trash talking, but it's all good. We're good friends.
Good. There's nothing like a little trash talk between friends, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. It goes on all day, on and off the court.
Okay. So if we talked about your game, and just to give fans an understanding of what you bring to the table, what would that be?
Mostly, I'm a team player. I bring a lot of intensity, energy. I usually lead my team in that way. I've had some championships overseas in the past doing that, and that's some good success, so I look to continue to do that with the team this year.
For sure, and your new team is happy to have you on board, and congrats once again. Paul, Eric, back to you guys.
All right, Audley. Amani Donish, a guy that's part of that stable, and Eric, Los Angeles base, that's not too bad.
Yeah, the LA base has definitely been quite popular so far tonight, and Donish played in 2011, 2012 overseas in Japan, averaging about 14.7 rebounds per game. I mentioned the stickers on the suitcase. Iceland, playing in the U.S. and Eurobasket in Belgrade, Malaysia, Finland. He's been all over, and now again here in the NBL, getting a chance to play here in Canada.
You're looking at the new head coach of the St. John Millrats, David Cooper. Cooper taking over this year from Jaron Jackson, and we're ready at the podium. Here's Andre Livingston.
With the 13th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, St. John Millrats selects Darren Mincy. Kev De Laval is on the clock.
Darren Mincy, picked by the St. John Millrats, a 6'2 guard and 6'2", 213, and you can't help but smile as Darren makes his way to the podium. And he is connected already, Eric, with the team from St. John in a sense. He has a friend on the team. They were buddies in high school, their point guard, and he will be welcoming Darren into St. John.
And Darren Mincy out of Merrimack College, and you saw as he was heading to the podium as well in the background. We caught a quick glimpse of the assistant general manager for the Canadian senior men's team, Rowan Barrett, in attendance tonight as well, probably keeping an eye on some of the talent that this country has to offer.
Well, it's terrific, and I know that he would be one, as a guy that played overseas, Rowan Barrett, to look at a league in Canada and say he can't do anything but help the development of the game and the development of Canadian players, with 3 of 12 having to be Canadian on each roster. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
So there's some familiarity as you're heading to St. John as your college teammate Darren Duncan. You know him. That's got to help make your welcome that much easier.
Yes, definitely. Well, first I want to thank God and appreciate this opportunity of being here. And but yeah, I played 3 years with Darren. He was my college point guard. We're real familiar playing with each other, so it should just continue to work.
So he's going to have to look for you on the break then. I mean, he knows where to find you. He passed you the ball for 3 years. Why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, he knows where I like to get the basketball and knows my spots. But just first and foremost, I just want to be a good team player, sure, not just to Darren, but to the rest of the team as well. So,
was there any advice given to maybe Darren or others that perhaps gave you some suggestions or feedback?
Just come in, play hard, defend, and just do what you do best, and somebody should hopefully see something in you.
Sure. Well, congrats once again, and again, we'll keep an eye out for you all season long. Take care. All the best.
Next up on the clock, the Kevs de Laval, and I'm not trying to start anything here, but I did see head coach of London, Michael Ray Richardson, saunter over to that table, so you never know what's going on.
You're not trying to start anything,
no,
but you
I'm
might
not.
be.
I just report what I see.
Stirring the pot is what you're doing.
I just report what I see. Let's go to Andre Livingston.
With the 14th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, Laval Caps select Travis Kahn. Halifax Rainman is on the clock.
Travis Kahn, a 6'2" guard, and he is selected by Laval. This team from Laval, second overall in the NBL last year, 22-14. Actually, they finished third. They were number 2 in the NBL in defense, and they were defeated in the semifinals, but a team that you definitely have to look out for, playing solid basketball all season.
Taking a look at Travis Kahn here, some of the highlights from the Combine, the product of Jacksonville University, experience in the NBDL with the Springfield Armor, and now coming to the NBL.
Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Travis, congratulations on welcome to the NBL. Wondering if you talk about sort of inspirations as you were, whether it be a player or a coach or someone that helped as you were sort of developing and forming your game.
When developing my game, I think one of my biggest influences is Kobe Bryant and Russell Westbrook, and also my mom. She's a fighter, and I think I carried that over to the court. Just always fight and never give up.
And you talk about Russell and Kobe. What did you see about their games that you identified that you could use that?
They carry a swagger about themselves. I mean, it's kill or be killed out there, and I think that's how I carry myself, and that's how I want to keep it. I want to keep it that way. So, yeah.
So on the court, exactly, it's just that, kill or be killed. Don't stop, don't quit, keep going.
Right, and I think I bring that to my team. We give 110% every game. So, yeah.
For sure. Well, hey, congrats. All the best, and we'll keep an eye out for you all season long. Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
Travis Kahn and Halifax on the clock. And there is Cliff Livingston, the new coach of the Halifax Rainmen. Halifax, part of a terrific final series in the NBL inaugural season, a 5-game series with the London Lightning. Again, a huge crowd of over 5,100 people at the John Labatt Centre in London, Ontario, to witness the 5th and final game where London won the inaugural championship. Still a lot of anxious and nervous faces waiting for names to be called. 41 players invited, 24 will be drafted, but that doesn't mean it ends there, because there were players last year that were not drafted that still made their way onto rosters by way of free agency. Andre Livingston at the podium. Who is next?
With the 15th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, the Halifax Rainmen select Cortland Bluford. London Lightning is on the clock.
.6'2" guard Cortland Bluford, Jonesy, out of Assumption College. And you talk about the Rainmen, with the success they had last year, they were that close to the championship, finishing 23-13 overall. They were the #1 scoring team in the league, and they just beefed up their offense a little bit more with some transactions going down tonight, let alone their selections right here in guys like Bluford.
Well, it's interesting. You wonder if Cliff Livingston's going to play a certain way. They draft Bluford. They traded for the #1 scorer in the NBL last year, Brandon Robinson. You wonder what kind of game he's going to play. Are they going to be more up and down? They were already a high-scoring team. Maybe he's looking for guys that can play the perimeter, play some perimeter defense, and try and shut people down. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Hat's got to feel pretty good about now on your head.
Stomach drop, man. Stomach drop.
So tell me, what would be the #1 piece of advice you got as you're going through this whole process?
Just to be patient. That was mostly what everybody was telling me, just to be patient, my time would come.
And it certainly has come. You're here now. You've arrived. To the fans watching, Halifax fans want to know what you bring to the table. What would you say your game is all about?
Quickness. I push the ball up the floor, get guys more shots, and that's what it's all about. Getting guys more shots, more opportunities.
An exciting brand of basketball, if you ask me.
Yeah. Smiling on the court always.
You're smiling right now, which is good too.
Unbelievable.
Great. Well, hey, congratulations, Eric, Paul. Back to you.
All right, 1 pick left in the second round, and it's a pick that will finally be made by the champs, the London Lightning. As we just told you, a 5-game knockdown drag-out series with the Halifax Rainmen. There is the owner in the middle of the screen, Vito Frigia, and Michael Ray Richardson, his head coach. That name, yes, folks, the same Michael Ray Richardson that played in the NBA as an all-star. Michael Ray Richardson, just to put this into perspective, drafted 4th in the NBA in his draft year. You know who was the 6th pick in that year?
Oh, I know, Jonesy, but you're going to tell everybody.
Some guy named Larry Bird.
At some point, we've got to see if we get a shot of the shoes for Michael Ray as well.
Michael Ray is wearing some serious shoes, and he's holding on to the championship T-shirt, the London Lightning. And, you know, you see that look on Michael Ray's face. He's a guy that means business. Let's go to Andre Livingston to see who they've selected.
With the 16th pick in the 2012 NBL Draft, the London Lightning selects Jerome Richardson. Windsor Express is on the clock, and the last and final round will be announced by COO Ian McCarthy.
Jerome Richardson, 6'5" forward, selected by the London Lightning. And Eric, you know Michael Ray Richardson wants a certain kind of player, so that's got to be an honor for Jerome to be selected by London.
Out of Louisiana Tech, and bringing some experience to the table as well. 29 years old, a veteran player in terms of his experience overall. Last played in Columbia in 2011, averaging almost 25 points a game and just under 7.5 rebounds as well for Jerome Richardson, the 6'5" forward. Again, out of Louisiana Tech.
Hey, Louisiana Tech's produced a couple of players, haven't they? Some guy named Paul Millsap and another guy named Carl Malone. I wonder if Michael Ray Richardson can find any of that in Jerome Richardson. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Jay Rich, welcome to the London Lightning. It's got to feel good, but again, you're joining a team that has some high expectations. You ready for them?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready. I mean, first of all, I'd like to thank God and giving me this opportunity, and London Lightning for giving me the opportunity also.
Okay. So where do you see yourself helping this squad immediately?
Immediately, first and foremost, I bring defense and a lot of high energy, intensity, and whatever the coach wants from me, that's what I'm going to bring.
For sure. So as we move ahead, again, we talk about London Lightning, them being the champs last year. They obviously want to repeat. You ready for that pressure?
Definitely, I'm ready for that pressure. I mean, I've been playing basketball my whole life, and pressure is nothing to me. I mean, you either excel or not.
All right. Well, look, we'll definitely keep an eye out for you as well, and congrats on making it to the NBL, and all the best.
All right,
take care, my man. Eric, Paul, back to you.
There's a review of round one. And many of those names that were drafted originally were traded. The number 1 pick, Robert Curtis, was drafted by Windsor and then traded to St. John. And obviously, St. John picking for Windsor, Mike Helms. There's the first round, 8 players selected, and let's take a look at round 2. Again, 8 more players selected, and it started with Kevin Loisel and finished with Jerome Richardson. 2 rounds down, 1 to go. Let's take a break. You're watching the 2012 NBL Canada Draft presented by Recharge with Milk.
The best way to reach your goal tomorrow is to start today. After a workout, your body needs fluids, carbs, and protein to rehydrate, refuel, and recharge. A serving of chocolate milk within 30 minutes of working out delivers an ideal mix of what your body needs to help make tomorrow's workout better today. Recharge with milk.
There is a table of the expansion franchise yet to play a game, but they are in the house, the Windsor Express. And you see their owner in the middle, Dardis Willis, a gentleman who was excited beyond compare last year to be part of the NBL draft, and he was just a spectator. He told us he was going to have a team this year. The league hadn't played a game, and he was already talking about expansion, and there he is with a big old smile on his face, his team ready to get going. Ian McCarthy will take over calling the third round selections. Ian, the COO of the NBL Canada.
I have a trade to announce. The London Lightning acquire the Laval Kebs first and second round picks, Adrian Moss and Travis Kahn, for cash considerations. With the 17th pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Windsor Express selects Wayne Porter-Lawton. Moncton is now on the clock.
Wayne Porter-Lawton, the first pick in the third round to the Windsor Express. And Eric, I guess Michael Ray Richardson was wheeling and dealing. We saw London acquire Travis Cohn and Adrian Moss, two players to go along with Jerome Richardson, who probably fit the Michael Ray Richardson mold.
For cash considerations as well. So you think about the wheeling and dealing continuing, Jonesy, as you mentioned, you hinted that something could be going down, and sure enough it was, as we take a look right now at Wayne Porter-Lawton heading to Windsor, and the product of UTEP. And any Canadian fans watching right now, especially Toronto Raptor fans,
yes,
will be familiar with some of the pedigree and history from UTEP.
UTEP produced players like Tim Hardaway, and the Raptors' own at one time, he was an all-star here, Antonio Davis. And pretty fair mold to be following. And let's go to Audley Stevenson.
Wayne, congratulations. You're here, brand new team, the Windsor Express. What do you see doing for the squad right away, right off the bat?
It's hopefully big things, I know championships, so that's what I'm going to try to bring to the scene.
So if you were to tell the Windsor fan base right now, because they're watching and they're excited of seeing these picks roll through, what would your personal message to the fan base right now in Windsor be? We're all watching now.
All right, you put me on the spot. It's going to be a great season. That's all I can say.
All right, well, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming up here and chatting with me, and congratulations once again on being drafted in the NBL, and we'll keep an eye out for you all season long. Take care, my man. All the best.
Wayne Porter-Lawton, the #1 pick by the Windsor Express in round 3. Moncton Miracles up next, and we get a look at their table. The Moncton Miracles, a team that last year, again, after an 0-11 start, kind of recovered and got their legs underneath them to finish 9-27, but at the same time, they need to get better and they want to move up. Let's go to Ian McCarthy at the podium.
With the 18th pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Moncton Miracles select Colin Whiteley.
Six forward, and a Canadian being drafted here, Jonesy, out of George Brown College in Toronto. So we talked about it earlier, the opportunity to see another Canadian come into the league with a mandatory at least 3 on each roster in the NBL.
Colin Whiteley, as you said, Eric, the 6'6" forward, and a guy that showing here moving well without the ball. Whiteley out of George Brown, a local product in Toronto here. And he is standing by with Audley Stevenson.
It's got to feel pretty good, Toronto native, being drafted in the NBL.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah? Your family all must be excited.
Yeah, they're watching right now, so finally got picked.
For sure. Talk about sort of the process. I mean, we're talking about the NBL, how big this is for a Canadian player. Talk about that process for you as through the combines, and now that you're here tonight. What has that been like for you?
Just constant training, always in the gym every day. Sacrificing whatever you need else to do, just training.
For sure. And all that training has paid off.
Yeah, it has.
For sure. Well, congratulations, Colin, and all the best this season coming up.
Thank you.
Take care. Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
Colin Whiteley, now product of the Moncton Miracles.
It's Jonesy. It's interesting as well when you think about the NBL and what the opportunity that's provided for a lot of young players. And you think, you and I have talked about this a lot over the years. The differences, the comparisons that we can make as well between the Canadian college game, the Canadian university game. And a couple of years ago, this wouldn't have been an opportunity for a lot of the CCAA and OCAA athletes in this country. And here's a perfect opportunity now for a guy like Whiteley to continue his career.
That's the table of the Summerside Storm. They are up next. And let's go to Ian McCarthy with the selection.
With the 19th pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Summerside Storm selects Michael Norwood.
Michael Norwood, 6'6" forward, and looking very sharp, quite Natalie attired as he makes his way to the podium, but probably not as nice a guy on the court. Get drafted, that means somebody likes what you do, and Summerside selecting Michael Norwood.
Coppin State University and Erie Community College. Experience with the Fort Wayne Mad Ants as well from the NBA D-League and their training camp in the past. So, again, pedigree and experience in coming now to the NBL.
Michael Norwood out to Summerside. Again, the Storm last year 12-24, slowed after a 3-0 start. Let's see what they have this year. Michael Norwood, obviously a guy that they think can help them out. Let's go to Audley Stevenson.
You know, Michael, I'm watching from the moment your name got called, you smiled. And you smiled all the way up and you smiled all the way back. What's going through your head right now?
Oh, man, this is definitely unrealistic. It's definitely a blessing. You know, I definitely thank God and everybody that's helping to get to this point.
For sure. As we get sort of in the late round here, and you know, you're looking at wondering if your name's getting called. What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
A lot of anxiety and nervousness. I'm nervous right now. I'm just truly thankful, though, to even have this opportunity.
What would you say to your new fan base? What would they expect from you as they look towards the new upcoming season?
Really high intensity, high energy, hard-nosed defensive player, and a lot of athleticism and a good person on and off the court.
I think they're going to like that one bit. I think they like that a whole lot. Congratulations, Eric, Paul. Back to you guys.
Michael Norwood, the newest member of the Summerside Storm of the National Basketball League of Canada. Next up, the Oshawa Power. And there is the head coach, Robert Brickey.
You know, we've seen as the draft's gone on to some more experienced players, a little bit older, Jonesy, and that's probably understandable with we get into this third round and trying to go after maybe some guys that have had some other stops and that can bring some of that age and potential leadership to a roster as well.
There's Ian McCarthy. Let's get the selection.
With the 20th pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Oshawa Power selects Jamal Smith.
Well, Matt Slan is
St.
4
John
for
is on the
4
clock.
as Jamal Smith has been selected by the Oshawa Power. And we talked about it earlier, Eric. Brandon Robinson, the #1 scorer in the NBL and Rookie of the Year, traded by Oshawa earlier to the Halifax Rainmen. So Oshawa played a certain style. You got to figure that Jamal Smith will fit in somewhere and will help pick up some of the scoring with the trading of Brandon Robinson.
Jamal Smith, point guard, 5'9", out of the U.S., and Jonesy played last year in China. Experience, again, talking about playing in various stops overseas in Romania, playing in Mexico as well, Las Vegas in the ABA, so a lot of experience in coming here. And you talked about it, Matt Slan and the folks at Elite Talent Exchange, 4 for 4 this evening in the 2012 NBL Draft.
Let's go to Audley.
Jamal, good stuff. 4 for 4. All 4 of your teammates made it, and then you're the final last one.
Feels good. I mean, as everybody's been saying, it's truly a blessing, you know, to be in this opportunity. So, you know, a lot of guys in here work hard, put in the extra time. You know, we all do this to support. Most of us do this to support our families, you know, for a better way. So it's always a blessing when, you know, you got 48 or 41 guys and you got a couple of picks. Never know if you're going to be selected, but got selected, and I'm thankful.
For sure. And it's got to feel that much better knowing that, again, you're not alone in this process. I mean, the draft combine, it's intense. The whole drafting, sitting in a room here with, you know, everyone else wondering if your name's going to be called. But to know that you're not by yourself, it's got to feel all right.
I mean, it's a great opportunity, like you said. Everybody's in here, and, you know, they're all waiting to see if your name gets called. So you're not the only one, and patience, you know, patience is a virtue.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Jamal. All the best. Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
Jamal Smith, the newest member of the Oshawa Power.
Mentioned playing last year, 2011-2012, over in China. 34 minutes a game in 32 games, averaged over 20 points and just under 8 assists per game. So a solid showing, again, playing in Beijing in one of the Chinese professional leagues last season.
Well, you got to figure that he will, again, help pick up the scoring load with Oshawa unloading in a blockbuster deal the #1 scorer in the NBL last year, Brandon Robinson. You are looking at David Cooper, the head coach. And let's go to Ian McCarthy at the podium.
With the 21st pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the St. John Mill Rats select Tanico Robinson. Laval is now on the clock.
Tanico Robinson, 6'5" forward, selected by the St. John Mill Rats. And a guy that David Cooper will shake hands with there and say, son, we got to get to work. St. John had a difficult time last year. Finished a couple of games below 500, but lost to London in the first round, and you know they want to move up the ladder.
Take a look at some of the highlights here from Robinson in the draft combine over the weekend. You mentioned 6'5", forward, about 180, 182 pounds, out of Patrick Henry College. Experience in Ireland, Estonia, and there he is working hard under the hoop. And that hard work and work ethic overall, the range as well in coming to the NBL.
To the NBL, we're talking about patience, and we heard a couple players talk about patience prior to when you get this late into the draft. You have to exercise a whole lot of that, don't you?
Yes, sir. You definitely have to wait your turn. I mean, you never know when your name's going to be called. You just got to be ready when they call your name.
For sure. We were talking about the NBL overall, the opportunity that it creates for individuals. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for you?
Just to be able to play in this league is a blessing alone, you know. That's just a lot of things could come from me just playing in this league alone. You know, just got to bring it pretty much. You know.
One last question: if I were to ask a player that you sort of looked at that maybe patterned your game after, who would that be?
I never really took my game after one particular person. I just took a little bit from everybody. And just tried to.
Like who? Give me a couple.
Rudy Gay.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a lot of guys. You know, everybody that's in the league, I look up to all those players because that's where I would like to be eventually one day. So, you know, I just try to do what I can do and things like that.
For sure. Well, congrats again. Welcome to the NBL. Hey, Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
Mr. Robinson's neighborhood is now St. John as the Mill Rats select Tanico Robinson.
Only 3 selections left on a pretty wild night overall with lots of moving and shaking going on, and 3 picks left for more. You see any more buzz going around here, Jonesy?
I saw Michael Ray move across the room, but, he's good at the look away, so maybe he's trying to throw us off on that. But, Eric, you're right. There have been a lot of moves, a lot of trades, a lot of money changing hands, some future draft picks being moved around, and we get a look at the Laval table. And we see that Ian McCarthy has approached the podium.
With the 22nd pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, Laval Kebs select Emmanuel Trinquier.
So Laval makes their selection, Emmanuel Trinquier. And the Kebs, we've told you earlier, finished above 500, 8 games above the 500 mark at 22-14, 36 games last year
Halifax
in the NBL.
is on the clock.
This year with the expansion and welcoming the Windsor franchise, there will be a 40-game schedule that will all kick off on November 2nd. And Emmanuel Trinquier will be a member of the Kebs de Laval.
Youngster as well, only 20 years old and already experienced playing overseas in France a couple of seasons ago in 2010, 2011, and here he is now as a 20-year-old joining the NBL. Here's Audley.
Bienvenue at NBL. How'd that go?
Merci.
Awesome. I've been working on my French. Yeah. So it's got to be really exciting to be up here?
Yeah, very exciting, very exciting.
As we get late into the draft, lots of feelings going on in your head, anxiety, I'm guessing?
Yeah, really nervous, but I getting picked, so everything's cool.
Oh, absolutely. The draft combine process, you had a good showing. You did well overall. What was that like for you, that experience?
It's a good experience for me. You know, I'm young. I'm here to learn. I'm hopefully get better and work hard like every day.
Well, great. Well, bon chance, does that work?
Yeah, bon chance.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Congrats. All the best. Eric, Paul, back to you guys.
Oddly Stevenson, a man of the world, working on his French.
Better him than me.
And it won't be that hard for Emmanuel Trinquier. And, you know, we saw Windsor do it with the #1 pick trade to get a local product, somebody who can help, well, put butts in the seats while putting W's on the board.
I think that's an important selection, especially when you talk about, you know, heading into this third round and trying to take a guy not only for talent but for a local connection. And that, to me, matters in a league like this when you're trying to sell it to the community and to sort of grassroots, and especially with young players, and trying to build with young players and young fans that you're hopefully going to attract and keep with your team for years to come.
Summerside is up, and Ian McCarthy is at the podium.
With the 23rd pick in the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the Summerside Storm selects Brandon Bush.
So Brandon Bush selected by the Summerside Storm, 6'6" forward, just shy of 200 pounds. We get a look at Bush at the podium.
London
and
is
he
on the
too
clock.
showed well at the combine. Wearing number 128, and again, he's one of those guys when you were in the gym, and as I made my way around the gym and asked who guys like, coaches didn't know names, but they could sure tell you a number, and you heard that 128 from a lot of coaches.
Out of Texas State, and he's standing by right now with Audley.
Sense of relief. I saw when your name called, you let out a big whew. How's that going?
Felt good, man. You know, towards the end, but you just stick with God and keep believing.
For sure.
So.
What would you say the best piece of advice as you go through this process? It's a long one. The draft combine, it was very intense, and then obviously, you know, you hear the draft, waiting for your name to get called this long and this, you know, this late in the draft. What's been the best piece of advice?
I just stick with it. I mean, it's, you know, it's so much that you do, but you just stick with it and you just keep believing and just believe in finishing strong. So
for sure. Now, obviously, your new fan base is going to want to know about this guy and you know, what kind of player are we getting. You know, what does he bring to the table? How is he going to help our squad? What would you tell him?
Just the hustle plays, defense, rebounding, you know, and whatever else coach needs to be done.
For sure. Well, that makes coaches happy all over the place. And congrats, all the best. And we'll keep an eye out for you all season long. Paul, Eric, back to you guys.
Brandon Bush, a member of the Summerside Storm. Eric, 1 pick left, and it will be made by the champions in the inaugural season of the National Basketball League of Canada, the London Lightning. And interesting, when you get a look at a player who is presented with the London Lightning hat, it doesn't say London Lightning, it says champions.
If you've got it, you might as well flaunt it. You're wearing the crown, you might as well show it off. And London, after that successful year that we spoke of in the inaugural season, winning Expansion Franchise of the Year and Coach of the Year honors as well, a solid showing, a solid start for London, and why not show it off while you can? But there are now 7 teams that are trying to knock the Lightning off that post as we get set for year 2 of the NBL.
Well, London has rivals both east and west when you think about Oshawa and the new expansion franchise in Windsor. Here is Ian McCarthy with the final pick of the 2012 NBL Canada Draft.
With the 24th and final pick of the 2012 NBL Canada Draft, the London Lightning selects Obina Agomo.
Well, I knew this kid was going to be selected because when I walked into the gym yesterday at the Combine, he had some bright orange shoes on, and they were flying all over the place. And Obina, an athletic young man who plays with a lot of flair and a lot of passion, and boy, does he ever play hard.
Well, and obviously, you can tell he's playing hard in the Combine. He's sporting the shiner over the left eye there. taking a few stitches there above the left eye, and blood, sweat, and tears, literally and figuratively, on the line in the combine over the course of this past weekend.
Obina Ogamo. And there he is posing with the championship T-shirt of the London Lightning. And as I said, there he is with those orange shoes. Somebody made a joke in the combine, said, look at this guy, man. Looks like Bradley Beal. Well, maybe not Bradley Beal, but at the same time, a guy with a great body and a guy that can certainly